I've been a profitable trader for the past 5 years, and if I had to start all over again, here's the first thing that I'll tell myself. Don't do it, man. Get out while you can. You got your whole life ahead of you. No, in all seriousness, the first thing I would tell myself, and this goes for anything that I'm trying to do, is to make sure I have the right mindset. If I'm getting into this because I think I'm going to get rich while sitting on my butt doing minimal work, this ain't it. Even though there are days it does feel like that, just like I have days where I could hear the birds chirping in my golf bag before even teeing off, sometimes the stars do align. But to get to a level of consistency, to reach the same level of playing field as Tiger, that takes a lot of work, sacrifice, and discipline. So this anti-work mentality, I know for me, won't bring any great success to my life. So having that mindset of everything has to be earned and worked for is key. If you know me, I'm someone who spent over $40,000 trying to look for the easy way out. And what do you know? The only thing I ended up succeeding in is the one I worked my butt off for. So I believe mindset is everything. And I learned that there are two types. There's the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. Fixed mindsets believe they have limited abilities. Either I can do this or not. They don't like challenges and prefer to stick to things they know. They also take offense to criticism and feel threatened by other people's success. A growth mindset is the opposite. They believe any skill can be learned and developed. Any challenges can be beat if they put in the effort. They see criticism and feedback as a positive because it's a chance to improve myself. They see other people's success as an inspiration because it's like, bro, if that motherfucker can do it, so can I. So having a growth mindset, knowing that as long as I put in the work and effort, I know I can come out successful, needs to be up here before I do anything. I would check out the book Mindset by Carol Dweck. Highly recommend read. So once I have my mindset right, the second is I need to also have my money right. I need to have some sort of money saved up so that I can invest into myself and this new venture. So I'm going to already assume that I have a job and have some money in the bank. And if I don't, the formula is pretty simple. I would just live below my means, only spend money on absolute necessities, and just save the money I would spend on my wants. Take it one day at a time and see the cash pile up. If I have the right mindset, this shouldn't be too hard to do. Now, how much do I save? Well, personally, I would like to see at least 25 to 50K comfortably sitting in my bank to pay for my education and fund my account. But of course, there's ways to start with much less. This would just be my ideal number. So now that I'm ready to run through a wall to get what I want and I have some spending coupons, now I need a teacher. I'm someone who values my time, so rather than trying to figure all this out on my own, I'd rather pay someone who's already been through all the trials and errors and came out the other end successful. It's like paying for a blueprint to success. Now, the problem with this profession, and I've discussed this in previous videos, is that this isn't taught at a proper school. I call it the Wild Wild West because there can be a lot of fake gurus out there. So it's easy to give the money to the wrong person. So to prevent myself from spending the same amount of money that I did, I broke it down to 4 things that I would look for to find the right teacher for me. The first is pretty obvious, and that is credibility. Their main selling point is showing off Ferraris and mansions. That's not a way to convince me anymore. That actually makes me more skeptical now, because if I was selling a working product, my first instinct would be to show proof as much as possible that this is a working product. Like if I was looking for a diet coach and one person shows a bunch of pictures of past clients' results, has won awards, has a bunch of certificates on nutrition, has worked with movie stars on sets, whatever it is, that's the first thing I'll be showing off. Versus someone who's like, look at my Ferrari. You want to be ripped and drive the same car as me? Just give me your money and I'll teach you how. So I want to learn from someone who is actually making money from the business and not from selling courses. And when I say credibility, I'm not talking about someone who has been profitable at one point in their career. I'm talking about someone who is still profitable today, because that's when I'm starting. I don't want to see profits made back in 2020 when everyone and their grandmothers and pets made money that year. I want to see proof that the material I'll be learning is being applied by this trader in today's market and it's working. The second thing I would look for is value. Now, I don't care too much about the price itself. I'm more concerned about the ROI, return on my investment. How much material and support will I be getting in these programs or courses? So what I would like to see is not just pre-recorded videos, but also a way to interact with the teacher, whether that's through a chat room, email, weekly update videos, Discord, whatever it is, just a way to be able to ask questions and get updates in today's markets. Again, I'm not too worried about the price itself. I'm more concerned if the value is there for me. Because imagine if I had the chance to follow around Warren Buffett for an entire week, how valuable would that be for me over just watching him in a pre-recorded video that he made 7 years ago. Which leads to number 3, and that is community. Is there a trading room? Is there a community built around this teacher? Are there other traders that have succeeded or are progressing under them that I can connect with? Because trading can be a very lonely game, but if there's a community where I can link up with like-minded traders, bounce ideas with, keep each other accountable, and just connect with real people and actually see the trader in action, that would be clutch. One of the ways I found success today is having access and seeing what other successful people are doing. And the fourth, the last one, is more of an option. Just like a musician, I need to choose the instrument that I want to play. Am I more interested in trading crypto, forex, stocks, options, futures? There's many different roads I can take. And the reason why I didn't list this as number 1 is because finding a legit teacher is more important to me. I don't care what it is that I'm trading. At the end of the day, it's can I make money with this or not? So during my research, if I'm lucky enough to have found the right teacher for every single category out there, great. Now I have the luxury to choose. But I think the priority, number 1, is always making sure I follow the right person or mentor. Okay, next, I need a setup to trade on. Investing into a decent PC. Most people lean towards gaming PCs, but I found that I had a better experience with workstation PC builds, or just starting with what I have is fine too. I also need to open up a brokerage account, someplace to trade at. Obviously, this step can be done anytime, but if this is my first time opening one, I wouldn't be too intimidated. It's really simple to do. It's as easy as opening up a bank account, and it's all done online. Now, there's many different brokerages out there to choose from, but here's what I would look for. Priority number 1 is paying 0 commissions on all of my trades. Now, most US brokerages offer that now. Can't speak on outside of the US because I don't have any experience there. Now, I know that it also depends on what it is that I'm trading, but I would try to pay 0 to as little commission as possible. Second priority is using a free platform to trade on. The last thing I want to do when I'm just starting out is having to pay a bunch of monthly platform fees. I want my expenses to be as little as possible. So 0 commission, 0 platform fees would be ideal. Number 3 is finding one that offers a paper account. This is a simulated account where I'll be able to trade with fake money to practice, just like how pilots would fly in a simulator before flying the real thing, just to get familiar with the buttons and get a feel for everything. So if I come across a few brokerages that offer those, then it becomes personal preference. I will just check out how the charts look, how easy it is to place orders, and just lean towards the one I vibe with. Most brokerages should offer some sort of demo for the platform, and there's also a bunch of walkthrough videos on YouTube to help shop around. Okay, so I got the mindset, the money, the teacher, the setup, the brokerage. Now is when the fun starts. I call this the honeymoon stage. I'll never be this excited again to start this new venture. So go through the courses, study the material, attend the coaching, whatever the program calls for. Now, one thing I would make sure here is if I try different courses that teaches different methodologies, I would try to leave all of that at the door and approach this as its own thing with an open mind. I mean, the reason I'm here is because everything else wasn't working for me. So if I'm learning from this new chef and I start mixing recipes from the other chefs, the results are obviously going to be disappointing. This is why having a growth mindset is vital, because only then will I be able to get rid of old habits and old beliefs that aren't working for me and start with a clean slate. Now, as for the learning experience itself, that's totally up to whoever I chose as my teacher. But when learning things for the first time, what works for me is repetition. If I have time to watch Netflix while I'm eating, I'm going to use that time to watch lessons over and over instead every time I eat. If I have time to listen to music while I'm driving or commuting to work, I'm going to be listening to the lessons instead over and over again. I am also trying to actively put it into practice, even though I may not fully understand the concept yet. Because no matter how many videos I watch on how to ride a bike, it doesn't matter until I physically get on a bike to get a feel for my own balance. And that's what paper trading is for. So by starting with the paper account is like using training wheels on a bike. I'm doing it so that I can get familiar with how the platform works. I'm just getting used to placing orders, messing with the charts and features that it offers, and also practicing the strategies that I'm learning. Now, because this is a fake account, there needs to be a point in time where I need to take off those training wheels and start trading with real money. I wouldn't necessarily wait until I'm profitable in the paper account to do that, because being awesome at flying a simulator is totally different than flying a real plane with 100 people in the back seat. The pressure and emotion is what I need to get used to and overcome. So I would make the switch over to a real account once I get fully comfortable with using the platform. So once I switch over to a real account, my goal is to risk as little as possible, because I know I'm not going to be consistently profitable right out of the gate. And I'm going to look at this as part of my tuition money to learn. So I'm already saying bye to this money. So why not make that tuition as cheap as possible? One of the biggest mistakes I can make as a first-time trader is trying to get rich overnight. That's not trading. That's gambling. Save that shit for Vegas. Only when I start to see positive cash flow at the end of the month, that's my approval to start scaling up my risk. And that's when I can worry about putting some money in my pocket. But how do I work my way up to a positive cash flow? I will use something called the Pear Method. The P is the planning stage. This is where I'm learning and planning the strategies that I'm being taught. The E is the execution stage. This is where I'm applying those strategies in the real market, risking as little money as possible. Then comes the analyzing stage. This is where I review what I did wrong, what I did right, what I can do to be better. Then finally, the refine stage, which is where I make the necessary adjustments. Sometimes the best way to find success is a process of elimination. So getting rid of what's not working and keeping things that are working. And this leads back to planning, and round I go. So putting it all together, my first step is to have the right mindset, that growth mindset, ready to get shit done. I also need to make sure I have some capital saved up to make the best investment, which is in myself. Then I need to find the right teacher or mentor to learn from, one that I can interact with. And once I found the one and know what instrument I'll be trading, I need a setup to trade on, so investing into a decent PC if I don't already have one, and then opening up a brokerage account and choosing a platform to trade on. Now I'm ready to get to work, so I would watch the lessons, learn from the teacher, and begin with a paper trading account, just enough to know my way around one comfortably. Then I can switch to real money, starting with minimal risk, because my goal here is to last long enough until I become profitable. So using the Pear Method until I see positive cash flow at the end of the month. Then I can scale up slowly from there. Now, this is all easier said than done. It's easy to get motivated, but the problem with motivation is that it wears off. Discipline is what I need to show up day in and day out, whether I feel motivated or not. I did make a full video on that if you want to check that out. But the way I look at it is on days that I come home from a job that I hate and I don't feel like working on my own goals, I'd rather just kick my feet up, relax, take my mind off, play some video games, watch TV, whatever it is I want to do on my free time. I like to ask myself, whose dream am I building? Because if I have the discipline to wake up and show up to a job that I hate day in and day out, building someone else's dream, and after all of that, I don't want to spend a single minute or a single ounce of that energy on building mine, now that's bullshit. So if I didn't like where I am in my life today, I would stop this anti-work mentality and ask myself, whose dream did I build today? But that's just me. That's what I would do.